Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, morning.
Good morning.
All right. Got my Monday morning folks on here. Did everybody have a good weekend? Yeah, nice.
Yes.
All right. Well, this week, be prepared. You have me. Chase is on vacation. So you're going to be tired of me by the time the week's over. And it'll be a happy welcoming party on Monday, next Tuesday when Chase gets back. So, all right, let's dive into some gratitude while we wait for people to join. Let's see here. Who has a burning desire to share some gratitude? Who wants to share? I'll pause for maybe 10 seconds here, see if anybody wants to jump in before I call on anybody.
I do. I'm Leanne.
Dan?
Yeah, so we had a very busy weekend getting rid of stuff. It's just like things we don't need and past businesses that haven't worked out. We've just finally just dumped it all, and it was so rewarding. But grateful that my husband was there to help me. Very
Love it.
grateful.
So you purged, you got rid of a bunch of
Oh
stuff.
my gosh. I have so much weight off my shoulders.
Isn't that funny? There's I forget the name of the book. I read it quite a while ago, but it's about minimalist living and living like the challenge of having so much clutter and what that actually does to us. So,
It was anxiety ridden is what
yeah,
happened. So yeah, feeling good about that and just grateful my husband was there to help.
cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else want to jump in, give us some gratitude?
I am so grateful for business partners who trust me and clients who trusted me. I had a client appreciation event this weekend and it was great. I'm just grateful for everyone.
I love that. I love a good client appreciation party when it goes off. And in fact, if you guys are up for it on Wednesday, which is Ways to Find Business, I was actually going to dive into how to maximize events. So the systems that we use, processes that we use to maximize the event and get the most out of it. So interesting that you brought that up because I think this Wednesday will be a good topic. So be sure to join. Thanks for sharing. All right. Who else wants to share?
I will. I already shared on Friday, but
That's all right. Share again.
I'm here. I'm in Ashland, Oregon. I just picked up my son from the Pacific Crest Trail. He just finished California, and I love seeing him in person.
Love it. He's
And I'm on
how many
sorry.
miles in?
Just over 1,700, and he's got like 950 something to go.
Wow. Where does he end up? Somewhere in Canada?
Yeah, he ends up at the border of Washington and Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Super
but
fun.
I'm on vacation and I'm on daily growth because I love you guys.
Love it. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing and thanks for being here, even though you're on vacation. That is dedication. I love it. All right. Let's get one more. Who else wants to share? Who or what are you grateful for this morning?
I'll go.
Okay.
I am really grateful for I call him my little brother. He's my only brother, but we inherited our family cabin up in Donnelly after my dad passed away. And luckily, my brother has so many skills. He can fix plumbing. He can do minor repairs. And he even cut down a huge dead lodgepole pine over the weekend and cut it all up. So thank God for
Wow.
him because I don't know if we could keep the place if it wasn't for that because it would cost way too much to get stuff fixed. So I'm very grateful for him.
Love it. Love it. I'm gonna give gratitude this morning. I don't normally jump in on the gratitude thing, but I am grateful for timing. I'm grateful for timing. So, a little story. This weekend, I was at my cabin. So, Stacy, same thing. I was at my cabin, and I go up there maybe once a month. So I'm not up there all the time. And the main water line broke while I was there. It flooded I don't know, a third of the basement. And I got the water turned off. I got a restoration company up there. They're drying everything out right now. But I'm grateful for timing because if that had busted today, no one's there for a week. So I'd be filling up the creek and the river down below me because it would have just continued to run. So grateful for timing. All right. Let's dive a little bit into what we talked about on Friday. We went all over the place. It was almost like Chase and I are talking about changing Friday to like pick your poison or whatever you want to talk about because that's the way Fridays have been going. I love the conversations, and it's I wrote this down. I don't know if she's on, but it was Latamla. She wrote, "Everybody wants a for sure thing. Everybody wants a sure thing," and we were talking about confidence and having a system and a process and approaching your clients with confidence and the value that drives home. So, did anybody have any additional thoughts, any light bulb moments, anything go off that you want to bring up or talk about? David, what's up, buddy? I was like, "Where's David?" He's like my diehard on the camera.
With my mom, it's my mom's birthday today, so we were on a WhatsApp call.
Oh, you're good. You're good. But you're still here. Love it.
Yep.
Any takeaways from the conversation we had on Friday? I'll give it like 5 more seconds and then we'll dive into the topic today if you guys want. All
I
right.
don't remember what we talked about on Friday.
Basically approaching. Someone brought up a topic, but it moved into approaching your clients with confidence, and confidence equals competence. Latamla said everybody wants a sure thing. Basically, how to approach people with that level of confidence. So, let's just dive into today. I have a really fun topic. It's one of my favorite topics. And on Monday we talk about the market. So, anybody hear about the Fed rate and what happened a couple of weeks ago? Maybe it was a week ago, week and a half ago.
Didn't they
Anybody?
freeze it, or was I reading an old headline?
No, yeah. So they did not raise it. They did not raise it. There was there Kashi Market, and there's a couple other sites that like predict. Chase has one that predicts like, are they going to raise them? Are they not going to raise them? And it was like a 30% chance they were going to raise it, but there was 3 dissents, and meaning there was 3 people out of 9 that were like, no, we need to raise them. And so that means that the new prediction for September is a 60% chance that they're going to raise rates. So what does that mean for us as an industry? What do you think is going to happen if rates go up?
Mortgage rates are going to go up.
People are gonna become even more cagey when it comes to buying.
Okay. What? Say that again.
It
People are going to
depends.
become more what?
It depends.
It does depend. It does depend, but there's several other factors. But people are going to get more cagey. They're going to be more afraid to buy. What I was
Bingo.
doing my open house this weekend. That's the main concern that everybody was talking about was the rates. They wanted to buy, but the rates. So
Yeah,
Yep.
love that. Okay. Alex, what were you going to say?
The Fed fund rate does not equal mortgage rates, number one. Number two, when depending on what other factors are affecting things, if people are seeking more safe haven investments away from a potential quote unquote market crash, they will go into bonds, they will go into mortgage-backed securities, and that could potentially increase a little bit of the price, but that means yields would have to go down on the mortgage side of things. So it's just going to depend how investors react on the bonds and on the economic side of things of what mortgage rates are actually going to do. Now, credit cards and loans directly from banks will go up because the Fed fund rate does affect those rates directly.
Sure. Okay. Thank you for that. Anybody else have any take on what would happen if rates go up? We need to educate the public better. I love that, De Niro.
Maybe sellers
Prices
won't
go
want to
down.
sell.
What'd you say, Claudia?
Maybe sellers will want to hold on to their properties more because
Okay.
they don't want to go to higher interest rates.
Got it. So rate lock could be a potential, right? Okay. I love that you guys all said this, and Alex, you gave a comprehensive overview. And the challenge with overviews like that, Alex, when it comes to the consumer is you can lose them real quick, right? So I'm going to talk today about something. I'm not going to dive into it yet. What I want to do is I want to read some headlines because this is what the consumer's hearing. Okay. So I'm going to open with this. NPR put this out. I was like, no way. This is stupid. And it's totally just for the headline. They said mortgage rates hit 6.66 and they called it an ominous sign of what's to come. So they were leveraging the 666 number, a mark of the beast or whatever you call it. And they're like, this is ominous for what to expect. So would you say that's a positive or a negative headline for consumers?
It's a scary one.
It's a scary one, right? That's exactly what they're, and by the way, if you understand the news, do they ever want to put out anything good? Like they want to put out things that are going to drive clicks and fear. Correct.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to read down this list. Mortgage daily rate index sitting at 6.83%, basically at a long-term high. Fed held 3.5 to 3.75, but the 9-3 vote, 3 dissented. They wanted a hike now. Market pricing roughly 60% odds of a September hike. Pending sales are down 5.4% month over month in all 4 regions. What do you guys think when you hear those headlines? What's going through your head? If you're a consumer,
I don't want to do anything right now. I want to wait.
yeah, everybody this is the freeze conversation. This freezes the market, and raising rates is technically supposed to slow down spending. The challenge is, when there's so much that depends on the housing market. And our livelihoods depend on selling homes, right? So here's the problem. Most agents do one of 2 things. They go quiet or they go argue. So they'll say, hey, here's all the reasons why that's not true. Or they don't say anything. Both of those strategies lose. So most people go quiet or they go argue, but most of those strategies are going to lose. So what do we do instead? Any ideas?
Attack motivation.
Attack motivation. That's, by the way, that could be a very strong yes. And the only caveat to that is we gotta talk to them before we can figure out what motivation is. So I'm gonna preface that with there's a strategy to find more people to talk about motivation. Go, David, go ahead, and then Mike unmuted too.
It kind of makes me think about the concern and control conversation.
Yep. So what do we as agents have control over when this type of stuff happens? What do you think?
Setting expectations, making sure that they know what really is happening.
Okay, love it.
I think we have a control over how things are framed.
Bingo. That's
where I was thinking. It's like conveying what the consumer or our clients have control over versus what the concern that they're being, spoon fed by.
Love it. All right, Mike, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say kind of a compilation of that, but this is a chance to start asking those questions 3 layers deep, to not only hit motivation, but also to figure out exactly what they're hearing and then what we're talking to them about as far as the framing of it.
Yes. So both Alex and Mike suggested like motivation and digging deep and figuring out, and so they're right. But what I want to talk about today is how do we even get to that point? If people are scared and timid and they're not responding to you saying, hey, do you want to buy a house? Or you calling and just talking to them, they're not responding with any interest. Because a lot of times when fear sets in, they stay silent with any interest. Their interest is stomped out. They no longer see it as an opportunity or something they can move on. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is something that's called a MOFIR. MOFIR. That stands for Make Offer for Immediate Response. MOFIR. It's making a relevant offer that creates a reply. The whole game of a MOFIR is message, market match, and then the headlines themselves. They hand us, for lack of better words, the market's message for free. So the headlines are actually giving you the indication of the messaging you should be locking onto. You don't have to guess what they're thinking because CNN told you and NPR told you. The worse the headline, the sharper your match. If you build it against what the headline is, which is the obstacle, instead of arguing, you can actually get more people to reply. And all of this is going to make sense here in a second. I'm going to go over what I call the 4 O's. I learned this from a good friend of mine that's in the real estate business. This is in the $1 Million Database, by the way. So if you get the $1 Million Database manual in our free assets, it explains the 4 O's. And so let me tell you what the 4 O's are first. Obstacle is number 1. Number 2 is originate. Number 3 is offer. And then number 4, open to change. And so obstacle is where you name the thing, not the headline. So it's not the 6.66, it's my payment moved and I don't know if I qualify. Or it's my current rate is low and I don't want to get into a higher rate. So you name the thought process that these headlines are creating for your clients. So that's the obstacle. That's the thing preventing them from exploring, from talking about it as an option, from even considering the opportunity of buying a house. You guys tracking me? So what are you guys hearing as it pertains to obstacle? Is it making sense, what I'm saying?
Like you said, it's not the headline, it's what they're hearing and what
Correct.
they're feeling because of it.
Yes. So after you come up with the obstacle, and so now we all know roughly what the obstacles are. And I would, you can use AI. Just say, hey guys, or AI with a high rate, here's an obstacle. My payment moved and I don't qualify. I don't think I qualify anymore. That's an obstacle. Help me come up with 5 other obstacles that high rates could cause the consumer to have. If you can't come up with your own, go to AI and prompt it that way. But after you come up with the obstacle, this is where the magic happens. You originate. And this is where you build the offer that matches the obstacle. An offer that exists, how do I say this? An offer that exists, it beats an offer that's perfect. So it's better to have something and get it out there. And I'll explain why that matters in a second. And you just start conservatively and then you test it. So here's something that I would do, for example, is I would think through the lens to craft an offer. I would say, hey, interest rate is causing people to not want to move because they were anticipating a certain payment. So let's just say that that's the obstacle I've identified. I'm now going to go do one of two things. I'm either going to go talk to my lenders, my preferred lenders. I'm going to figure out what a mid 700s borrower with $15,000 towards a buy down can get in a 2-1 buy down or a permanent buy down on a 30-year fixed. So I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to go to a credit union, and maybe I'll call through a couple credit unions because some of them have deals. They're trying to gain market share, so they'll create 10-10 arms or 5-5 arms that can be really competitive. And then I'm going to go talk to my builders, and I'm going to find out the builders that are offering, they can pre-purchase interest rates. I don't know if you guys know this, but they can pre-purchase. So lending contributions don't factor in because they pre-buy the rate down. And I'm going to figure out what their rates are. And then I'm going to craft my offer around what I have gone out and figured out that's a contrast to what the headline is. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So you have to put in work in order to originate and craft your offer, because you have to know what's really out there that can counteract the headline that people are using. And by the way, guys, that headline is a freaking gift. All of this negative news is a gift, because when you come out with an offer that counters the narrative, you are a shining light in the darkness. Like you will stand out to people that would buy if they could. And the offer, it needs to be specific. It needs to be timely. It needs to be useful. And most importantly, it needs to be built to pull a reply. So you don't just send out an offer with a low interest rate. You send it out with the offer to discuss the payment on certain price points. And if you want to know your price point, what the payment is on your price point, reach out. Right? You have to have something built in that causes someone to want to reply.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you're talking about an offer, are you talking about whether you're, in front of people on social media, most likely on social media, whatever, hey, think you can't buy, here's what we can put together for you to invite that conversation? Is that what you mean by offer?
Yeah. Yes. And here's what I would say. When I'm thinking of a MOFIR, make offer for immediate reply, and I've gone through the process and I've named the obstacle. I originate it, and then I create the offer, meaning how am I putting it out to the world? I'm putting that in my email signature. I'm putting that on my open house flyers. I'm putting that on my social media stories. I'm putting that in my email newsletter at the very top with a button to click. I'm putting it in as many places as I possibly can, because the goal is to counteract the narrative, to find the people that, we call it the rubber meets the road question. Hey, if the rates were lower, would you buy today? And you find out if someone would say yes. This is putting that out in mass, built for a reply for all of those people who, if rates were lower, they would buy today, but they've decided that now is not an option because they've heard that rates are near 7%, or they heard that the Fed is going to raise the rate. They've heard all of this negative stuff, so they don't even consider it as an opportunity. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I just figured I probably wasn't the only one wondering, so I thought I'd throw myself out there.
Yeah, by the way, guys, please throw out your questions, because she said it exactly right. There are other people that are thinking it, and some people just don't want to speak up, and that's okay. But if you're thinking it and you're willing to speak up, throw the question out there, because I guarantee you other people are thinking it. The very last O is open to change. And this is where I said, hey, it's better just to throw the offer out. It's better to be done and out than perfect. Is open to change is where you look at it and you say, hey, I put it on the story. I put it out on email. I put it on my signature line, I put it on my open house flyers, and I got 0 replies. That means that you need to change the messaging around the offer. That's all that means. So you have to be open to change. You have to study what you're saying. But if you're not putting it out there in enough places, then you don't have enough data to understand if you should change it. And this is where we separate the average agent from the extraordinary agent. The agents that take market share in down times or times where there's negative news are the ones that are thinking through, how do I leverage this news, craft an offer, and find people that are seeking, that would jump on an opportunity to buy if they could. They just don't know that they can. And again, we're not arguing with them and we're not staying silent. We're just putting out offers that match the moment. So let's talk through what might some offers be. Who has some ideas on an offer you could craft? Even if it sucks, someone give me one and we'll work through it. Who wants to build an offer and put it out today?
How about like, could the offer be like a financial review? Um, you know how you talk about diving into a client's, monthly spending and
Yes.
using like, could it be something like that where it's like, hey, like let's look at your spending and figure out a way to get you in a new home and reduce your monthly costs?
If you got that offer, what would you think, David? If you were sensitive to the high interest rates and you got an offer that says, hey, let's review your monthly spend and see if you can buy a house, what would you do?
I would say it's too good to be true. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Like it wouldn't make sense in my brain.
Yeah. So what I would say, like if I'm crafting that offer, let's just say that that's the direction I want to take it. And I want to say, hey, because there is a way, guys, where you can look at their financial snapshot and you can be like, oh, if you get a seller credit and this is it's a VA loan. So we can pay off this debt, and this debt with a seller credit. I don't know if you guys know that, but with VA loans, you can use seller contributions to pay off debt to lower their monthly expenses. I don't know if you know that. Or they have equity in their current house and they can take some of that equity and pay off a car and pay off a high credit card and then buy this new house that has a higher payment, but their overall housing spend dropped. So if that's the framework, David, that I'm going through, my messaging might be something around, I recently lowered someone's monthly outgoing spend. Let me know if you want to see how I can do that through a home purchase today, whatever, right? So you would tell the story that, hey, I did this for someone. So that's the thing that you're trying to do for everybody else. If that's interesting to you, reach out to me. That might be how you would craft that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, we got one more minute. Who wants to, I don't know if we have enough time to do another offer, but I'll give you a couple examples and then we'll open it up for the last minute. Rate hit 1-year high. That's the headline. The obstacle is payment shock. The offer that you might have is their payment at market rate versus a lower rate and their price point. So you basically could say, hey, this is the market rate. This is a rate that you can get today with me. And then you could put in a price point at like 500,000. That equals this much in savings. Want me to run the number for you? That would be your call to action. Does that make sense? You guys tracking me? So here's what I would challenge all of you guys to do. Go figure out what your lenders offer. If you don't have a preferred lender, you should get a preferred lender. Figure out what they offer. Figure out what tools and tricks they have to lower someone's interest rate. Go talk to a credit union and then go talk to builders and figure out what they're doing to incentivize and bring people through the door and what rates they're offering. It could be as simple as, hey, 4.99 rate came across my desk today. If that's something you would want on a 30-year fixed, reach out to me. And it would be a builder offering a 4.99, right? You don't have to talk about the builder. You don't have to talk about the qualification. You can just say it came across my desk. If that's something you'd be interested in, reach out to me. It could be something that simple. All right. What are you guys hearing? Let's get one or two takeaways before we get off.
Start making phone calls.
Always. It's a contact sport, people. Love it. Okay. What else?
Speed is better than perfection.
Yes. Because it's the putting the message out that gives you the data to know what you need to do to the message, right? Did the message work? Did it not work? If it didn't work, what do you need to change? And if you're not putting out to enough people, you're just never going to know. All right, one more.
I would say let's not be afraid of these headlines. We got to capitalize on what they're saying and turn it around to use it our benefit.
That's, in my opinion, Claudia, that's the best takeaway we could all be taking right now. There's two agents. There's the agent that lets the headline scare the shit out of them and they retreat. Or there's the agent that finds the opportunity in the bad news, the opportunity in the bad market, whatever you want to call it. What agent do you want to be? And then go ahead, Latanya.
So it's basically, it's not about what they say, it's about what we know. That's what you're saying.
It's about what you know and how you can craft that into a message. Correct. We're the professionals. And by the way, is it true that someone can get a below market rate today? Is that true? It's true.
Absolutely.
You better freaking know what that number is and figure out how to articulate that out, because that is what's going to take the people who just think that it's not an option, but would buy today if it was. And they're going to raise their hand. And then, Mike, that's when you get to do the 3 layers deep questioning. That's where you get to dig in and figure out, are they truly motivated to buy a home? And then what do you need to do to help them do that? All right, guys, it's 9:32. Time flew today. Holy cow. Appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going over the law of magnetism and the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, the law of magnetism. It's one of my favorites. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. This is great.
Of course. I'm glad it helps. All right, guys.